Guys, there is a technical term for what rent was and what it then becomes when it gets relet. We call this rental spread. We're talking about all things rental spread in the rental market in Sydney right now. Stay tuned. Hello.
Hello,
Hello.
real estate agent, expert landlord, talking about rental spread.
Yeah, our media team was very uncomfortable when we invented these social media posts, these tiles, and
Yeah.
they were like, "Oh, look, don't really know if we want to put that out there in the market." And what it was putting out there how long it took to rent, what it was rented for, and what it got rented for in the end. You actually can't find that data anywhere in the country.
It's transparency, and it's pretty insightful to the marketplace, who are obviously curious. A lot of people know rents have increased in the last 12, 24 months, but as you said, how much? We're going to tell you this morning across the last 3 weeks activity, 2 weeks activity in our rentals team, and give you an insight as to what's happening on the Northern Beaches. Let's get straight into it.
Boom.
So these tiles put together every result the team does. Top right-hand corner, you can see the time, the old rent, and the new rent. And the difference between the old rent and the new rent is rental spread.
How much on that one?
$560 to $595 for a one-bedroom in Wayne Street, Freshwater.
$30.
$30. How about Chroma? This was a house, 1950 to nearly 2100. That's a big jump.
Yeah.
What looks like a little studio here actually. It's a one-bedroom studio. $350 to $400 per week.
$50.
This is a build-to-rent model, can I say? So there's 20-odd units. Yeah, 20-odd units in here. And they're like studio furnished accommodation, $480 to $500 a week. However, these are turning over quite quickly, every 3 to 6 months. 2-bedroom, Collaroy, $800 to $850 a week. Pittwater Road, near the beach.
$50.
Lambie Heights, 21C Kentmore Road. This is a granny flat, $750 to $780 a week. Look at the time frames. These are all being leased in a week.
Yeah, $30.
1 week, 1 week, 1 week. 2 at 15 Lismore Avenue, 2-bedroom, $630 to $750. Wow, big jump.
$120.
Looks like a good 2-bedroom. 16 at 21 Redmond Road, vacant for 1 day. So the vacancy in between tenants moving out and tenants moving in 1 day saves the landlord at this price $100 a week. That's awesome.
Incredible.
Incredible.
It's buoyant rental market.
Yeah, and leased in 1 day. House in Chroma, $1,900 to $2,100 a week. Wow.
$200.
What's this one? House, DY, townhouse, rather, $1,250 to $1,350 a week, $100. Leased in 3 days.
$100.
And Paddington, we do out of area. That's the rental spread.
Whoa.
2 weeks.
So the distance from what it was rented for to what it got rented for, that's called rental spread. And it's actually impossible data to find out of the market. It's only reported internally in agencies what it was getting. you can't use bond lodgements from previous to new or any of that stuff because that doesn't account for rental increases through that period. So the
Yeah.
rental spread, very, very interesting. Um, these are the largest rental spreads I've ever witnessed in 32 years of real estate. I've never seen rents increase at this flow, at this rate. Furthermore, the media is actually reporting the opposite. The media is saying that the rental market's cooled off. Definitely not what we're seeing on the northern beaches of Sydney.
Yeah. To give you an idea, there's 365 properties for rent on the northern beaches right now, realestate.com.
Yeah,
In
wow.
addition to that, out of a
So what does that?
portfolio,
What is the future of rentals in the next 12 months, Billy, for tenants, for landlords?
the short answer is I'm actually not sure. But here's another statistic for you. Out of a portfolio of 2,000 properties we're responsible for looking after locally, there's 9 of them for rent currently on our books. And we're one of the largest independent
Yeah.
agencies.
We're one of the largest independent rental agencies in Sydney. In Northern Beaches, we're the biggest by a long shot. And we've got 9 for rent only. We've had capacity. We've had times where we've had 60, 65 for rent, to give you a reference of sort of, what a big number is. But
Yeah.
that's an astonishing low amount of rent. Very hard for tenants to find a property. They're, and I think my message out there to government, I think that means, I think that the Minister Minns has done a great job with bringing in the density,
Yeah.
further density across 170 town centres across New South Wales. But I think everyone's finding that the hard thing's going to be the execution, is actually developing that stock and finding builders, given the cost of what, building is so expensive, and funding as well. So I don't know if that's going to pipeline through to more rental properties on the market. It certainly does not feel like it at the moment. So, and then when you look at all of the legislation and how de-incentivized landlords have been in the last 20 years, there hasn't been one incentive put on the table for a landlord. It's really, I call it killing the farmer. If we need farmers to put food out, for people to eat. We need landlords to put rental properties out there for tenants to rent. And I think we haven't been doing a good job with supporting landlords in government.
I think the silver lining for tenants here is I've had 2 friends in the last 2 months reach out and just ask for advice on how to apply for rental properties, and both have been successful. They took sort of changes to the way they put their application in, what documents they put in, how they presented their application, and then found success on the back of that, which was really nice to see. So I do think as a tenant, you can't be sloppy with that process. There's competition out there, and you need to get good cut through on your applications to give you the best chance of securing a property. And that doesn't cost anything, to just pick up the phone, call an agent or you might know, or a friend knows and you trust. Just ask the question of what can I do differently. We really want to help.
So Billy, finishing off, in conclusion, what is rental spread?
The difference between the old and new rent, top and bottom. There you go.
There you go. Have a great day.
See you later.
Thanks, everyone. Hope you helped with the rental information today. Love you.